nine, eight, seven, six, five, four, three, two, one.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. I am the official urban therapist. Welcome to this episode of Lunchtime Conversations. Now, as promised, now I'm gonna give y'all some techniques about communication, or in other words, I promised y'all that I was going to do an episode talking about communication. What better way for me to want to do the episode is for me to during your lunch hour. So first of all, happy Monday to each and every last one of y'all. I hope y'all having a great Monday as well. Hope your day going by great. So without further ado, let's jump into this topic about communication. Now, first of all, I do want to let y'all know that for the next couple of episodes of the lunchtime conversation, this is where I will be talking about. I'll be talking strongly dealing with communications. Now, this first episode right here, this episode is dealing with the introduction about communication. So that's why I'm share with y'all the introduction of communications. Then I'm gonna mention a technique that you can use as well, so you can have effective communication as well. Now, I guess I could start off by just giving y'all a basic definition of what communication is. I could do that, right? So communication is basically this. If you look it up on Google, is communication is basically just a means of sending or receiving information. That's basically what it is. Once again, it's a means of sending and receiving information. So, in order for um, communication to happen, you have to have a receiver, and you have to have someone uh, who's sending out the information. So you have to have a sender, and you have to have a receiver as well, or someone who's sending out the information and somebody who's receiving the information, and vice versa. So that's basically the definition of communication. Now, this whole this whole series episode that I'm gonna be doing on lunchtime conversation, I'm gonna be talking about how to have effective communication dealing with relationships. But also, it can be tied into other things as well, like platonic relationships. It can be tied into having business relationships between employer and employees, or different things like that. But all in all, what I'm gonna be sharing with y'all is going to help for y'all to develop effective communication. Now, as y'all all know, communication is one of the biggest things that causes relationships to fail. Once again, communication is one of the biggest issues that cause relationships to fail. If you were to look up some numbers, you could Google it or whatever stuff. I guarantee that you will see that it's about 85 to 90% of relationships fail because of a lack of communication. So it's it's my goal to share with y'all the meaning of communication, and it's my goal is to share with y'all different techniques of communication that will help with your relationship, that will help strengthen your relationship, so you won't be within that 85 to 90% tile range. Where you're having good lasting relationships as well, especially with strong communication. All right. So let's let's jump into it. All right. Let's jump into this communication thing. All right. Now, one of the main goals of communication is this: communication, it creates oneness. All right. One of the main goals of communication that it corrects oneness. So what do you mean about that, Urban? I'm glad you asked. When a person who is communicated effectively, it creates oneness with the person. So whatever information that's been exchanged between the two is going to create a certain type of oneness. Now, there are two type of oneness that I'm talking about. There's a natural oneness that I'm talking about, and there's a spiritual oneness that I'm talking about as well. Let's deal with the natural oneness. Now, the natural oneness that deals with um, the natural nature of communication, where you send out a message, that person receive it, and they're in agreements with one another. All right, they are in agreeing with each other. That's the natural part of the communication. Um, Now the spiritual part of communication, it deals with what the Christian Bible is talking about, where it's talking about two can't walk together unless they agree with each other. That's what it's talking about. It's talking about that when you're communicating with each other, there's a type of oneness, or there's a type of agreement that both of y'all have to have. You know what I'm saying? So y'all could, walk together. Y'all have to agree on something. It could be agreement on a common goal. It could be agreement on a certain ideology. It could be agreement on, certain even spiritual or religious beliefs that you believe in. It'd be a certain agreements on, financial aspirations as well. Wherever the type of agreement is, it could be that as well, that creates oneness. You know what I'm saying? Or it creates unity as well in that sense. Okay, so that's the part of that as well. Now I want to even on the spiritual part, I want to reveal to y'all that communication actually there's a source for your communication. In other words, communication has an origins. It starts somewhere. In order for you to learn effective communication, you have to start from the very source of communication. You have to start from the very source from it. Okay. Now, the very source of communication starts with you. The very source of communication starts with you. One more time. The very source of communication starts with you. Then, furthermore, the very source of communication not only starts with you, but it starts with your linkage or your connection with the Creator, or with God, or with Most High God, or as someone say, with your higher self. Let me say again. It starts with you and the relationship with the Creator, or the Most High God, or as one would say, as your higher self. That's where communication starts at. Now, if you're unable to communicate with yourself, or with the Creator, or with the Most High God, it's going to be impossible for you to learn how to communicate with others. It's going to be impossible for you to have a good, lasting, effective communication relationship, because that's what it starts at. It starts with you first. So you have to learn first that every type of one communication that stems, it comes from you. So like let's take for example, right? Let's say for example that you're not connected with yourself. You're not connected with your higher self. You're not connected with God. You're not connected with anything whatsoever. So what's gonna happen is this. This is how this situation is gonna play out, and this how this situation is gonna look. Okay, uh, you're not gonna have any type of standards. You're not going to have any type of guidance. You're not going to have any type of empathy. You're not going to have any type of sympathy for whatever the words that comes out of your mouth. Let me say again, you're not going to have any type of empathy or sympathy for any type of words that come out of your mouth. So in other words, you're not going to have no type of filter whatsoever. You're just going to say wherever it's in your mind, you're just going to say it. You're just going to say it. And then on top of that, since you don't have your higher self to put you in check, or filter you out, you're going to be thinking that this is a great, effective way of communication. Therefore, you use this same type of technique or same type of knowledge wherever you got it from, and you transition that into relationship with others, or into a intimate relationship, or a platonic relationship, or one professional relationship. So now you're thinking that since you don't have no filter, you just say whatever you want to say. You're thinking this is the norm, and you should do this because it's your norm. Okay. This is not effective communication at all. Matter of fact, this is what is called toxic communication. Yes, within communication, it's very important, very vital that you do have to have some level of empathy about the words that you're transmitting, some level of sympathy about the words that you're transmitting. And you have to have some level of a filter about the words that you're transmitting. Because if you don't, it creates toxic communication. It creates toxic communication. So you may be asking me, well, Urban, uh, I thought it was okay for me to just express myself how I would want to do. I thought it was okay to be, unapologetic about how the way I express myself, how the way I communicate, or how the way I feel. In this situation, I'm not talking about being unapologetic. A matter of fact, in many of my lives that I said, there's nothing wrong with being unapologetic about what you say. But however, even when you're being unapologetic, you still have to have some type of empathy, some type of sympathy, and you have to have some type of filtering system or something that's governing you about the words that you say, where the words that you're creating is not creating a negative effect, not only for your space, but the space around you as well. You have to have that. In other words, you can look at it this way: there is such thing as a law of communication as well. A law of communication does exist where you have to have some type of constraint, some type of filter where you're not just saying any old thing, and that's any old thing is not creating positive results. Okay. So yes, you absolutely have to have some type of filtering system. You have to have something that's governing you, where whenever you're communicating, it's effective communication where the communication will come out positive, even if what you're talking about could have a negative undertone about that. Well, what I mean by negative undertone, like say for example, it's a situation where you're talking about something, you're rebutting someone, and you just don't agree with what they're saying. Just because you don't agree with they're saying, that doesn't mean per se that it's negative. It does mean that you have a difference of opinion. But by you having that difference of opinion, it doesn't come out as being toxic. It doesn't come out as you not having a filtering system. It doesn't come out that you have no type of empathy or sympathy or anything like that whatsoever. It doesn't come out that way. It does that you just don't agree with a certain situation, which in that situation that's fine. Okay. So this is a part of communication. Okay. Now I wanted to also let y'all know this as well. Without effective communication, without proper communication and effective communication, it's going to create different type of toxic and negative things. These negative things includes fear. These negative things include insecurity. For example, have y'all ever been in a relationship where uh, it was really difficult for that person to really express how the way they feel towards that other person, because that other person was so toxic. No matter what you try to express to that person, they receive it, and they receive it as you either attacking them, and they take it as though as you being toxic towards them. Then they send the information back out as toxic, and they just keep going back and forth like that. The reason is because of the lack of communication, the lack of effective communication. The lack of effective communication causes these things. It causes fear. It causes insecurity. It causes all these different behavioral issues and stuff that need to be addressed. Okay, that's what it causes. All right. Now, another thing too that I want to reveal to y'all is that communication isn't just about just talking, just speaking. Okay. Once again, I'm gonna let me say this again. Communication isn't just about speaking. Even though I'm talking to y'all about communication verbally, communication isn't just about speaking. Communication is also about your eyes, how the way your eyes is looking, or how the way people perceive your eyes to be. Have y'all ever just look at someone's eyes and you could just really read their eyes, and their eyes is really telling a story about how the way they're thinking, um, and also how the way the message that they sending out to you is being perceived. Have y'all ever had that situation before? I have, where I'm literally looking into a person's eyes while they're speaking, and their eyes tell a totally different story about what they're saying. This is also known as lying. This is also known as lying. This is the reason why people have a certain discernment or a certain technique to where they can know when a person is lying just by looking into their eyes, because their eyes is telling a different story than what the message that they're presenting. Another thing too is that the body language as well. Not only eyes, but the actual body language as well. You can tell when a person is being truthful within their communication by their body language. If they have a more relaxed body language, they're more relaxed, they're comfortable in what they're saying, then they're being truthful about the communication that they're portraying to you. Likewise, if a person is all tense, you see them, they all tense, they moving around a lot. I mean, there's, unusual moving, not using hand signals like I'm doing, but they moving around a lot, squirming around, can't be still for whatever reason and stuff. That's another form of communication as well, the body language. So yeah, normally on communication, it happens verbally, it happens through your eyes, and it happens through your body language as well. So that's keep in mind. Just keep in mind with that when you are communicating. Okay. Now, um, now it's a there's a technique. There's several technique in communications that I want to share with y'all, and I'm going into more detail about that within this lunchtime conversation series as we dive further into this. Okay. But one technique I want to share with y'all today, and I believe that it will help you out a whole lot, is that I want to share with you the technique of leveling. Okay, the technique of leveling. Now, y'all may be asking, what is leveling? What is that? What is leveling? How do they look like, Urban? What exactly is leveling? Well, leveling is this, and I got it written down too. But leveling is the ability to speaking on your own behalf with empathy and concern for the other person, and also your collective knowledge, experiences, and resources to find solutions and various challenges that you face. Now let me read it to you again. Leveling means this is that you're speaking on your own behalf with empathy and concern for the other person, and you're using your collective knowledge and experiences and resources to find solutions to various challenges that you face. So To simplify leveling is that leveling is basically a communication technique where you're listening to the information that you're receiving, and by you effectively listening to the information, you're listening to it and you're gathering understanding about it as well. You're listening. In other words, you're listening for understanding. You're not listening just to quickly respond or try to quickly rebuttal um, certain things or try to quickly defend. You're listening for understanding about the message that's being portrayed to you. That's the technical level, and you're listening to that. You're listening to what the person has to say, and you're understanding what they have to say. And another part of leveling is this: is that when the person is talking, right, you respond back by not a statement, a thought, but you responding back with a question. So, say for example, you have you're not understanding what the person is saying for as finances concerned. The person saying that they broke, saying, "Man, I'm 100% broke," blah blah blah, whatever and stuff like that. Okay, that's a message that they send it to you. So instead of you rebutting back and saying you always been broke, whatever, trying to defend that, you're asking certain triggering questions to dig deeper into the reason why the person is communicating the message the way they are. So you'll ask triggering question as far as how did you get to the point of being broke? Let's examine that. What are you doing with your finances that cause you to be broke? Uh, are you are you spending in a certain way where it's where your spending is over your budgetary means? That's different questions like that you should ask the trigger and the leveling technique. And once when the leveling technique is triggered, from there you're asking these certain questions. Then for there the person is communicating back about what it is that they're portraying, and y'all going back and forth. And when you're doing that, you want y'all both is talking with empathy and with sympathy. Okay, with understanding, trying to understand the situation. That way, you could come with a reasonable conclusion about whatever it is that you're talking about, especially tough situations dealing with relationships. You know what I'm saying? If it could be a tough topic that you're dealing with a relationship and you really want to talk about that, leveling is a great technique in communication to do that. Where once again, you're listening for understanding. You're asking certain triggering questions with empathy and with sympathy. So y'all could go back forth in your technique as well. One last thing I want to share with y'all too about leveling. There are also with the leveling technique. There's also a thing that's called the leveling position. The leveling position. What is the leveling position? The leveling position is this. The leveling position is you're going to sit across from each other, right? And you're going to position yourself where you're both in eye contact with each other, right? You're looking into each other's eyes with their eye contact with each other. You're in you're in a comfortable position, and y'all going to be close enough to each other where y'all can maintain that eye contact through the whole entire communication or the whole entire leveling process. All right. Then even within even like within techniques dealing with marriage and family counseling, or with with therapy, marriage and family therapy. Sometimes the therapist will suggest that the couples hold each other hands. So y'all holding each other hands, so y'all in eye contact, and y'all expressing um, certain things that y'all feel about a certain situation. And the leveling technique is, once again, the person is speaking with empathy and sympathy about a situation that they're dealing with, right? Or they're expressing a certain concern about a situation that they're dealing with, right? Y'all holding each other hands, right? And so the other person is receiving the information, right? And they receive the information not to be in defense, not to rebut it, but they're listening for understanding. Then their responses that they asking certain questions, certain triggering questions to dive deeper, so they both come into an understanding while holding each other's hands. That is called the leveling technique, and that's called the leveling position. So, just like I say, this is just the introduction of effective communication. I'm gonna dive every day with these lunchtime conversations. I'm gonna dive even deeper about communication as well, and I'm sure other techniques, because there are many other one techniques in communication that I want to share with y'all. And this information I'm giving to y'all stuff on this information that people will go to marriage and family counseling, and actually, and then marriage and family counseling and a therapist will actually give people these type of techniques. But I'm sharing it with y'all for free. All right, um, so yeah, I appreciate y'all tuning in. We're gonna, just like I said, we're gonna dive even deeper into this topic and the conversation. And it's my goal. My ultimate goal is for us to, by the end of this, for us to have some good, effective communication where we can have some good, strong, lasting relationships, even in this modern day time as well. So once again, everybody, I appreciate you tuning in to this lunchtime conversation. Those of you who will follow me on Facebook, go ahead and like this video and share it, because I know people need to hear this. Everyone on the YouTube universe as well. And I appreciate you. You go ahead and share this video as well. And so people could go ahead and subscribe to my channel, the Official Urban Therapist channel as well. All right. So like always, y'all continue to fight fate with faith. Y'all be safe out there and enjoy the rest of your Monday.